Passive income. It's the ultimate dream, isn't it? The idea that you could make money while you're on vacation, or sleeping, or just not working. And social media is full of people making it look like it's some kind of magic. Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get real about how this stuff actually works. I mean, seriously, just picture this for a second. You wake up, roll over, check your phone, and you're actually richer than when you went to bed, without doing a thing. That's the pull, right? That's the dream everyone's chasing. Okay, but here's where we get real. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say in this entire explainer. It's not magic, not even close. See, every single real passive income stream, it's built on a trade-off. You just don't get something for nothing. It doesn't work that way. So what's the trade-off? Well, it's pretty straightforward. To get that passive income flowing, you have to invest something upfront. And that something is always one of two things. Either your capital, your money, or your time. That's it. There's no secret door number 3. Everything we talk about today is going to fall into one of those two categories. All right, before we dive in, I got to give the quick but super important disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? This is all just for educational purposes to get the wheels turning in your head. So please do your own research and always chat with a licensed pro before you make any big money moves, okay? Cool, let's do this. So let's start with path number 1, investing your capital. This is all about making your money work for you. So if you've got some savings tucked away, this is the path where you put that cash to work to generate more cash, usually with pretty low effort once it's set up. So what are we talking about here? Well, things like dividend stocks, high-yield savings accounts, which are probably the easiest entry point for anyone, and also something called REITs, or real estate investment trusts. They're a cool way to get into real estate without actually having to be a landlord. We'll also look at stuff like peer-to-peer lending and bonds. Okay, let's kick things off with dividend stocks. The whole idea is actually pretty cool when you think about it. You're basically buying a tiny slice of a big, stable company, think Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson. And just for owning that slice, they send you a check. It's your share of their profits, usually paid out every 3 months. It's like a little thank you for being an owner. So let's put some real numbers to this to see how it works. Imagine you've saved up and you invest, let's say, $50,000 into a bunch of these solid dividend stocks. Okay, so that's our starting capital. Now let's assume your portfolio has an average dividend yield of about 4%, which is a pretty reasonable and common figure. So what does that actually mean for your bank account? Well, that works out to $2,000 a year, or if you break it down, that's about $166 a month hitting your account for doing nothing. Now look, I know that's not quit your job money, but it's a start. It's completely passive, and the real magic happens when you reinvest that money, because that's when compounding kicks in and things really start to grow. Okay, what about real estate? Maybe you love the idea of rental income, but you definitely don't love the idea of fixing toilets at 2 a.m., right? Well, that's where REITs are fantastic. You're basically buying a stock in a company whose entire business is owning and managing income-producing properties. Stuff like apartment complexes or big shopping centers. And the best part? By law, they have to pay out most of their profits to shareholders, people like you. So to wrap up this first path, you can see the clear pattern, right? For all of these, the ongoing effort is super low. But, and it's a big but, the key requirement is high. You absolutely need that starting capital to get the ball rolling and to see any kind of real return. But what if you're thinking, that's great, but I don't have a big pile of cash just sitting around? Well, don't worry. That's what path number 2 is all about. This one is for anyone who has more time than money. It's about investing your skills, your effort, your time to build an asset from the ground up that will pay you back later. And in this world, we're mainly talking about 2 huge areas: creating and selling your own digital products and affiliate marketing. And just to be clear, both of these require a lot of work upfront. This is a real time investment. I love this model. It's the whole create once, sell forever idea, and it's so powerful. Here's how it works. You find a problem people have, you use your skills to create a digital solution for it, and then you can sell that exact same file again and again and again. Think about it. Maybe you're a wizard with Notion. You could spend a weekend creating the world's best project management template. You do the work once, put it up for sale, and that single digital file could keep making you money for years. But here is the absolute key, and you can't miss this. You can't just make a thing. It has to solve a real problem for a specific audience. That laser focus is everything. That's what makes people actually want to buy it. Affiliate marketing works on the same principle of investing your time. But instead of building a product, you're building an audience. You're building a community of people who trust your opinion, whether that's on a blog, a YouTube channel, social media, you name it. Then, when you recommend a product you actually use and love, you get a small commission if someone buys it through your link. The catch? Well, building that trust and that audience, that takes a ton of time and consistency. Okay, there's actually a third path too. It's kind of like a hybrid of the first two. And honestly, it's one of the most accessible ways to start. This is all about monetizing what you already own. Just stop and think for a second. Got a spare room? That could be an Airbnb. A car that just sits in the driveway on weekends? You could list that on Turo. I mean, even an empty parking spot, or that fancy camera gear you only use twice a year, or some extra space in your garage. All of that can be rented out. You're basically taking things that are just sitting there and turning them into cash. All right, so we've laid out the main paths. Path 1, invest your money. Path 2, invest your time. And path 3, leverage what you've got. Now, it's time to turn the spotlight back on you, because now you have to choose. Look, if there's only one thing you remember from all of this, please let it be this. The single biggest myth about passive income is that it's passive from the start, that it requires nothing. That is 100% false. It's a fantasy, usually cooked up by someone who's trying to sell you a shortcut that doesn't exist. The reality, the simple, honest truth, is what we've been talking about this whole time. It always requires an investment. You have to put something in to get something out, and you pay that price with either your money or with your time, period. So what do you do with this information? Here's the key. Don't get paralyzed trying to do everything at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just pick one single path that actually makes sense for you right now. Whether you have a little extra cash or a few extra hours each week, pick one and go all in on that. And that really brings us to the final, most important question. A question for you. I want you to honestly look at your life right now. Your resources, your schedule, your bank account. What do you have more of to invest? Is it time or is it money? Because your answer to that simple question, that's your starting line. That tells you exactly where to begin.